Today, I'd like to talk to you about sailing and getting unstuck, and more generally about creative breakthroughs and how to learn about making your own. Let's imagine that you're in a stuck position where you just can't get moving on something you really, really care about. You're really quite stuck and frustrated. It can illustrate that you might be in a position where something needs to get moving. Something significant needs to move and come into your life. Somehow you need to create new conditions, new explorations, if that's going to happen. Fortunately, there are other people who've been stuck before. And they've shared their stories, and I've shared their stories in many ways. Sometimes here on YouTube, sometimes on Facebook, and some of the stories, including ones I'll briefly mention today, are in this book, Breakthroughs. You can find it at Amazon and Barnes & Noble and every other place, right? It's full of stories that make great summer reading, that will inspire you, that will keep you moving. They're amazing and fun and engaging stories. Some of them are about very, very serious situations that people had to make their way through. Getting hit by lightning, a stroke, severe autism, many, many different conditions that you read about, in which you see that sometimes people have come up with really remarkable new ways of exploring and mixing together conditions that make all the difference, that create truly surprising changes that most people thought would, really not be able, to happen. So, sailing is one way of freeing your mind and putting yourself in conditions where you really need to pay attention. You have no choice. Some of my sailing adventures have been offshore, and they have been very exciting and illuminating. But if you're on a sailboat with a few other people, many miles from shore, then whatever happens with the weather, whatever happens with other boats, it's going to be up to you to pay attention and to cope with those, to anticipate, And when things happen that you really weren't expecting, you still, you're there. You're the ones in charge of your own life and the life of others. So just a couple of quick stories about sailing offshore. One is of sailing in the Bermuda Triangle on a beautiful day, a beautiful night. The sailboat is just moving along with the most amazing ease. So here's our sailboat again. A sailboat like this, when it's really moving along, will tilt over with the wind. It will heel. And if it just goes like this, just sailing along beautifully, hour after hour, because the wind is steady, the waves are steady, it's perfect, sunny skies, blue skies, or maybe a few clouds, but anyway, nothing you have to worry about with the weather. And your boat, once you get it trimmed to those conditions as expert sailors, then you can kind of just sit back, maybe touch the wheel once in a while, but mostly you can just sit back and listen to the waves and watch for dolphins, which is not unusual. Watch for flying fish, which is also not unusual. And as darkness comes, the stars come out. And alongside the boat, stars will stream by on each side as the boat moves through the water. And you look up, and above you, because the boat is moving so steadily, It's like a beautiful light show. The stars above are also streaming like angels past you. And then, here's why you want to explore new conditions, where you just don't know what's going to happen. In the water, on this particular night, there were phosphorescent organisms that were hit by the moonlight. And they go twinkle, 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 all alongside the boat too. Just, thousands and thousands of little twinkling lights in the water streaming by. It's mind-blowing, beautiful, peaceful. It brings your spirit alive. And we want to break out of conditions where we're bored or stuck or frustrated or sad. Then we need to make sure that we experiment and explore many different kinds of things. Again, I want to mention that the book is Breakthroughs, and there are so many different stories about so many different people in different situations, all true, all amazing, but true. And by sitting back and reading those, and getting engaged with the stories that are being told. After you've read 20 or 30 of these kinds of stories about different people and how they got unstuck, I almost guarantee you that your spirit and your mind is going to be opened up to new possibilities in your own life about how you can be creative, how you can overcome problems, how you can work with other people. I hope that really happens for you. I'm Keith Nelson, and I hope you have a great week and a great year.